Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to build your own research and outreach agent inside OpenAI Agent Builder. Let me just demonstrate you how it's going to work. You're going to give it a name and a LinkedIn URL, and it will draft you a cold email that you can be able to send it straight away. Let me just run it. The way it works is that it uses MCP tools. So all the agents, let me just open it up. All the agents are connected to tools. So in this case, we're using Epify MCP server to do LinkedIn scraping, and also we have inbuilt web searcher. So I'll walk you through how to connect your own Epify MCP server. And then outreach, we have a Gmail tool, which is pre-built with OpenAI. Also, it requires a bit of a setup. So I'll walk you through how to connect any G Suite MCPs. Because if you go MCP server, you can connect pretty much any like Google Drive, but then it requires you access token. So I'll show you how to get that token as well. Also, I'll show you how to set up your own global variables, meaning that you can reuse that information anywhere within any of your agents. So let's see what our agent builder is doing. So currently it's doing a couple of web searches, and all these agents are fully autonomous, right? They are the one who decides what actions to take and when to take it. I purposely left the research agents very broad just to show you how little input you need as a user. So let's see, it's still doing a couple of research. I'll get back to you once it's done. Oh, okay, it's done now. So this is research report based on a LinkedIn profile and the name that we gave. You gave executive summary, names, public school communities, where they're active, the roles and experience, their employment, public content and leadership, like the posts they do, also their company profile, public records, and a lot of other different things. What is more important, that we can still use this research report for our own purposes, but this research report will be given to a outreach agent and it will generate an email like this. So you can send it to this email. It even found an email even though we didn't ask for it. There's a subject, and then, hey Ahmed, call your relevance AI quick start videos with this panel. So this is where we help build app systems, will be free. Obviously, you can configure this cold email to whatever you want, but I just want to demonstrate how you can actually build something in the Agent Builder and walk you through step by step. So in our Agent Builder, we have a few things. To get to this website, you need to go platform openai.com/agent builder. And also you will need to have some OpenAI credits, but I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you mainly know most of it. So if you go OpenAI, you can log in and then you can go for developers, agents, start building, and it will take you to this docs. And then you go build agents, agent builder, open agent builder. It's not very obvious where it is, but it's quite easy to find. And then you won't be able to create a workflow if you don't have any credits. So you go API keys, and I have my API key here. You can create a new key, and you can also add credits or money to that key. Anyway, let's go back to Agent Builder. You want to create your own workflow. You want to start with the basic. So every workflow starts with an input or a trigger, which in this case is a start. So in here, we can add any variables, like global variables, like what our company is about, what our company name. I already set it up. In start, you want to set a state variable, which is about my company. So you click add, you enter the name of the variable, like about my company, and you paste information about my company. So you'll paste information about your company here, like what you guys do, what you guys sell, what kind of clients you need, pretty much any information that will help outreach agent to craft a better email. So since I've already done that, I'm just gonna show you guys. It's a very long text, but it's Altara specializing in AI-bound agency, helping businesses build blah, 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 blah. So it's quite a long text. So I recommend just asking ChatGPT or Claude, give them a summary like, oh, hey, this is our website. Can you generate a summary of what we do if you're quite lazy? So yeah, this is a start. Then you want to, let me just delete this. Then you want to press on drag, or you can click agent and then connect them together. You want to create an agent, right? So in this case, I'm going to create an agent. I'm just going to copy exactly what I did here. I'm going to rename this agent research agent. So the role of this agent will be to research our lead. And let's give it instructions first, and then we'll connect tools. So if I open this prompt in the big window, let me just walk you through. So I gave it a very brief role, like you're an expert research agent. We can even add, you will find all the necessary information about the lead. Let me just correct grammar. And then task is to research everything about, and we see this real little curly braces. And what this is actually be adding a context from our input. So whatever, when we click preview, whatever we pass here, like lead name and blah, 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 is actually what gets passed as, let me scroll down, as a workflow input as text. So we're inputting it as a text. So if I just copy this, and you can't expand this window, unfortunately. Let me just copy line by line, role you an expert research agent. Then what's this task? I'm just gonna, task is to research everything about the workflow as input. So you can, if you don't want to write it down, you can also click add in context, copy that. It'll populate it straight away, and then you can use it as a variable within your instructions. So you research everything about the information about the lead and the company they work for. Awesome. And then next step, what we're going to do is we're going to give it access to the tools that we'll be connecting. So I outline 2 tools that this agent will need. And the 2 tools are web search, to do a web search, obviously, and Epify MCP server. All right, so I'm going to click save, and I'm actually going to connect these tools now. First thing we need is a web search, and it's actually really easy to connect. And you have heaps of options where you want to search for your leads or where you want your web search to begin. Like Wikipedia, you can specify the websites it will search for. I'll just leave it blank. I wanted to search any website. Also, you can specify which country you want your search to begin from, like US or Australia. Also, search context size. Obviously, the larger the context size, the more API tokens will consume, aka it'll be more expensive, but also it'll probably have more information. So I'll keep it as a medium. You can even choose time zone. I don't know why, maybe for the news. And then you click add. So we added our first tool to do a web search. Second one is MCP server. So if you click on MCP server, and if you just look around, there's no Epify MCP listed here. So what do? We click on the add server, and we're going to add our own Epify MCP server. So we're going to search up Epify MCP server and look at their docs. So fortunately for us, Epify actually has their own MCP server. And if I look through, so we can use this Epify MCP server anywhere like Claude, OpenAI. And if you look down here, you will see that you can use either or auth. But in our case, if you look through our setup, it actually needs API token. So we are going to change the bearer token, and you'll see that now we can copy this thing. So we're going to use this URL to paste into URL here. We can label it Epify MCP server, and you can name it as Epify MCP server. We don't have to, but it just looks nicer. And then here, this is the interesting part. We're going to add our own custom header, simply because our API token requires a bearer and a specific header. So I'm just going to copy authorization as a header. I'm going to paste it here. It already has the dots. And now we just need to paste a bearer at the front. And now we need our Epify API token. So if you don't have Epify, there's a bunch of scrapers that we can use, but obviously sign up for a free account, you get $5 free credit. But if you go to your console, after you sign up, you go to your console, you go into settings, you go API and integrations, and you just simply copy that API token. So I'm going to get the bearer, paste like token, and press connect. So if it's successful, it will give you all these tools that it has access to. Your AI agent will have access to all the actors that you used or want to use. Can call the actors, it can fetch the information from the actor. So we can just simply click add. This is exactly what I did here. Let's keep building. Now I'm going to give our agent a bit of information of what Apify actors or scrapers I wanted to use. So I already outlined a couple of scrapers that I want to use. So like there's a 3 that I'm very interested in. The one that scrapes your LinkedIn profile, scrapes your LinkedIn posts, and the one that scrapes your company LinkedIn profile. By giving more information to how to use the tools, we'll definitely use these tools in according to when it thinks it needs it. Okay, so now we have tools, now we told it how to use it. And the last thing we want is how we want our output. I gave it a very brief, simple prompt saying, hey, I only want output the research report. I don't want any commentary and nothing else. So I'm going to click that and save. Let's just see if our agent works. I'm going to click preview. I'm going to search up. I'm going to give it a lead. So in this case is name. I'm going to search up myself and my LinkedIn URL. Bang. My LinkedIn URL, and let's see what kind of information it will find. So this is how you kind of test your agents. You click preview and you literally run the agent. So obviously searching the web. While that's happening, let's just keep walking through, since we have 2 tabs. Let's walk through what happens next after research. So once we're done the research, we want to pass the research to our outreach agent, who will then craft the emails. And here I also use Gmail MCP tool, but it looks like instructions. I'm not going to walk you through, I'm not going to read the entire instructions, but just, I found this to be quite optimal to have like a pretty decent email. But this is just to demonstrate what you can do and how you can set it up. I gave it a role, like US expert in drafting cold emails. I gave it a task. I said, analyze lead research provided to you, review company offerings, craft personalized cold email, and then using Gmail MCP tool, I want you to analyze what kind of language I speak, my tonality, the way I write, and then help that to actually write in cold email. This is where MCP Gmail tool comes in handy. I also give it the rules like subject line, keep it short, clear CTA, no buzzwords. Also give it email structure, subject, first name, icebreaker, content, proof, and CTA. You can play around with it however you want. I also gave like what makes it a real good cold email. And I also gave inputs, like I gave it lead info, which is input as we're typing. So you can also, if you look at the context, is the workflow input. I also gave it about my company, which is a state, the global state we defined here, state. I also gave past the research that we previously got from research agent here. And then output, I created draft email with these 3 things, and I only wanted to put email and nothing else. So I'm going to click save. Let's see what kind of research it found. Awesome. It found that I'm a CEO of No AI. I'm publicly sharing agent templates and building in public, which is true. I'm English and Russian. I have Agent OS. Obviously, it found a lot of different information. It found like my case studies, which is pretty crazy. So if I close preview, let's actually set up, I'm going to close this. Let's actually set up our second agent. I'm just going to drag this, new mode, click agent. I'm just going to copy this instructions that I've set you through. Don't worry, I'll leave all these instructions in a document in my school community, so you can actually just copy paste if you don't want to type it all out. And then I'm going to click save. And then here, last thing I'm going to do, actually no last thing, I'm going to rename it to outreach agent. I am also going to give it a tool. So here we can connect our MCP G Suite tools. It's already made by OpenAI. You can also use PipeGym, but you have to pay extra. So let's just connect it directly to Gmail. And here it requires you to get access token. If you click here, it's not very clear as to how to get the token. It's quite confusing. You see a lot of different stuff, but I actually found a really easy way to set it up. So you go Google Cloud Console, you open this up. Once you see this, once you actually sign up through your account, you set up to factor authentication, you will see something like this, like a dashboard. If you don't, just click Google Cloud, it'll take you to this page. You want to click on API and service. Obviously, if this happens, you just change your project to, if you don't have any projects, actually create a new project. Name your project like test, click create, and now we have heaps creating a project. I'll just wait for it to finish. And now I can actually go into my test project. I know this looks overwhelming, but it's actually fairly simple. There's only one step left. We have to go into credentials. Obviously, we have to create a credential, we create API key. I'm going to call it Agent Builder Test. We're going to have no restrictions and not a restrict API key. It's creating an API key. Sweet, we got our API key. We just copy that. And then if you go back into our own Gmail MCP, we have to just paste that in. I'm going to call it Gmail MCP and click connect. If it connects successfully, you'll see a screen like this. You click add. One thing I forgot to mention, if you click into your tools, you can change the level of approvals. I usually click never require approval for any of the tool calls. I don't want to keep clicking approve. I'm going to update it. I'm going to update this one to never require any approvals. And now we can use our Gmail MCP to look through our sent emails to analyze the language that we speak. All right, I'm going to delete these things. We don't need them anymore. So now I'm going to click publish. And let's test our tool using someone else, not me. So I'm going to chuck name my co-founder. I'm going to give it a LinkedIn. I'm just going to find Ahmed. Copy his LinkedIn. And once it's done, I'll show you. All right, so it just finished the full workflow. And you can see the email I got. Hi, Ahmed. Call your session at relevance. She's saving 15 hours. If you could pushing self-service and B, whatever. It's icebreaker. It's following the exact format that we gave it. Obviously, we can tell it not to use bullet points. So it gave a pretty decent cold email, but you can modify the prompt to actually give it even better. You can see the full report. You can see the reasoning that it was like, hey, I need to use this search email to find what kind of emails you get. I'm seeing 102 recent emails, and also gave us a full report that we can use. Yeah, so this is how you can play around with these agents. There's also, you can add guardrails, but I don't want to overcomplicate this video. I just wanted to show you guys how you can start building something very simple and quick just to play around with. If you want all the documents and how to set it up, guides for this, it's all in our school community. I'll be posting everything into Classroom, into AI Agent Library. There are already 728 people joining it. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you later.